and welcome to the show that deals exclusively with seriously weird films. I'm shooting off on a world trip in search of the brave few who make movies about serial killers, karate heroes, junkies, gangsters and talking dogs. I'll be finding out if these creative geniuses are as wonderfully deranged as their films, and to make things even more exciting, I'll be asking them to write me into some of their more outlandish scenes. That could ruin everything, of course, but what the hell. I plan to take you on an action-packed Hong Kong film bonanza.
Okay.
No, honestly, it's gonna be great. I even get to blow up a car. And if that doesn't grab you by the short and curlies, I meet Joe Castro. He likes carnage and cartoons. But first, I meet the star of a film about an obsessive serial killer, which is literally the dog's bollocks. Dogs don't often make it into the kind of weird, hard-edged films we like to feature on this show. No. The poor little things are usually restricted to crap like Lassie, probably because they're cute and fluffy and cuddly, man's best friend. Well, that may be true for this little pup, but it certainly isn't for all of them. This deceptively harmless-looking mutt is the true star of the savagely original film Lucky.
Give me something to eat. And none of that dry dog food crap.
Oh, and I forgot to tell you, he talks too.
I like my meat like my women. Raw and bloody.
Lucky helps a suicidal writer by the name of Millard Mudd rediscover his talent.
Why don't you write about a boy with no eyes that has a wonder dog that flies?
Haters!
Bitch.
And for a bit of fun, persuades him to become a serial killer.
I don't want to be skinned alive.
No one does.
Well, I hope that's whet your appetite, because I'm about to meet the guys who made the film Lucky to find out how much of a psycho you really need to be to dream up stuff like this. But first, I'm going to sniff out the star. I'd had enough of this snarling second-rater and couldn't wait to talk to a real actor. Shit. How did you get the part?
Well, I'm ashamed to say that I slept my way into that role.
What was the easiest scene you had to film?
Well, of course, get my ass sniffed.
That is so sweet.
Well, that comes naturally to you, of course. What's your ideal role?
I want to play Jesus. I think I was born to play that role. But it's difficult, you know. I like to think of, but are those breasts real? I guess what I'm trying to ask is, are you against having sex outside your species, baby?
I made a swift exit before things got too hot. The writer, director and Sydney's co-star all won awards for the film, and it scooped Best Picture at the New York Horror Festival, which is a touchy subject because some madam on the jury decided to give Sydney nothing.
Bitch.
Which was another good reason to move on and talk to the writer. I wondered if he was as barking as his lead actor. Why did you give the leading role to a dog?
I like dogs. I've always had dogs, and they've always told me what to do.
Really? How do they tell you what to do?
No, I can't hurt her. I'm sorry. He was talking to me just now. I think we all have this kind of dark side. There's a little dog inside of everybody that tells us to do things we shouldn't do. Or a lizard.
A lizard? I was beginning to understand the type of madness needed to make a movie that stars a talking dog, but hoped to find at least one sane member of the team. Did you relate to the character at all? I mean, he's a kind of potential psychopathic loser, isn't he, who's lost it?
Yeah, I really related to a lot of it. Obviously, I've never killed anyone, and nor have I ever intended to kill someone, but we've all had those moments where we go, I wish that person was dead.
How did you feel about kind of the idea about being bossed around by a dog?
It's happened before, all right? These are my people. I am dog god.
I was enjoying their weirdness, but prayed Steve, the director, was more normal. How twisted do you have to be to make a film like Lucky?
I think you have to be actually extremely twisted. And that's what's kind of amusing, is because people don't think I look terribly twisted.
No, this is very deceptive. This nice, fluffy jumper.
Thank you. Well, you know, I'm probably more twisted than I look. It's all inside.
Okay, I think I've established that everyone in this film is a couple of poodles short of a pack. But if you can't beat them, then you might as well join them. Which is why I've enlisted the help of Oscar here. Go cause some trouble.
Okie dokie.
Go on.
Romeo, Emily wants to see some fun. Are you up for trying to cop up with Roger's girl, eh?
Yeah, I'll have a go. Oi, Penny, show us your arse love and I'll show you me bone. Be quiet. You all know I'm Roger's bitch.
We all know Roger can't get it up.
Leave my wife alone, you mangy mongrel.
Piss off.
Go on, Romeo. Show your hairy sausage.
Oh, yes. Yes. Lick out my cat flaps. Yes. Oh, yes, yes.
Oh, Penny, that's turning me on. My eyes are watering. I haven't felt a twitch down there since 1973.
Clearly, dogs love a bit of drama as much as the next man. Bloody hell, whatever next, a dog soap opera? Still to come, I become a bloody cartoon character. Before that, though, I find out why Hong Kong's ultra-choreographed scenes of violence were cool long before their style featured in films like The Matrix. Hong Kong, a city densely populated with action heroes like Jackie Chan and Jet Li. Yes, for gun battles, car chases, explosions, and of course that strange whizzing about of limbs known as Kung Fu, you can't beat this stunning heap of concrete. Yes, this is definitely the best place to be for all-out furious fist and foot action. They're obsessed with martial arts. Over 20,000 Hong Kong citizens do some form of kung fu. Behind every bush is a crouching tiger or hidden dragon. And if you like truly mesmerising kung fu action, you should check out films like Once Upon a Time in China, Zoo Warriors, and the classic Bruce Lee movie Way of the Dragon. All feature more amazing martial arts than you can throw a knife at, which is why I've come all the way here to investigate why Hong Kong action is so powerful. And to kick off, I'm heading down there to get some first-hand experience of martial arts. According to legend, a Buddhist monk invented Kung Fu to stop his Chinese disciples from falling asleep during meditation. Now, some might think that's a little harsh.
That's a bunch of bullshit.
But I thought I'd stop you from kipping by finding my very own martial arts master, Mr. Long, and get him to show me what it's all about. So how many styles are there of Kung Fu?
One kind for fighting, one kind for performance, and that kind for health. Especially Tai Chi is for good health. In future, you can take Tai Chi, your age will up to over 100.
Wow, is that true?
Yes, of course.
I wasn't interested in living to 100. I'd rather die young, leave a good-looking corpse and find out more about movie martial arts. And Shaolin Kung Fu is the type of aggressive style I like. I wanted to get tooled up like Bruce Lee. And Master Long said he'd teach me some of his Shaolin secrets. But first, I had to do some customary stretching. I think that's it. I was warmed up and more than ready for my first weapon. I was hoping for a massive sword, nunchuck, or at the very least a knife. Oh, thank you. And was a little disappointed with my big girl's fan.
This is the weapon, not the fan.
Oh! But it's so pretty. Oh. Wow, so you think it's going to be a lady, but it's not. Although the fan was, well, fantastic. I wasn't going to be satisfied unless I got my hands on a bigger and better weapon. So Master Long agreed to let me play with his big stick. So it's hand in and out.
Did somebody kick you?
Oh. Or I could just go. That's the joy of having a weapon. Shaolin and stylized variations of it feature in most kung fu action films. But if you really want to defend yourself and don't have a sword to hand, you should learn Wing Chun. It involves explosive, close-quarter fighting. Believe it or not, but Ben and Ted here are experts. Now, where did this martial art originate?
It was actually developed by a woman.
Really?
Female monk, yeah.
A female monk? Okay, so how would you apply this martial arts, say, to a film?
Bruce Lee used it in films. This is his famous chain punch. And his kicking as well, which is the Wing Chun kick.
That is so nifty.
You can fight in the phone box or confined area like an alleyway.
In a phone box?
But yeah.
How would you do damage in that small space?
Let's say, for instance, if I wasn't a Wing Chun expert and Ted was, obviously I'm going to grab him. Now, I would need big movements to fight him. He doesn't. He can go straight forwards. And I'm going to be swinging. I can't swing because I'm in the phone box.
Wow.
I'm getting beaten up.
I'll go off and kick someone's ass in a phone box now.
Fantastic.
Groovy.
So if you ever get in a fight in a phone box, lavatory or lift, Wing Chun's close-quarter technique could prove handy. There's more to Hong Kong action movies than Kung Fu, and after the break I meet two of the best stuntmen around and blow up an Aston Martin. And if that doesn't float your boat, I meet up with LA's weirdest cartoon character.
Welcome back, and yes, there's plenty more movie madness to come.
I meet up with LA's most extreme cartoon characters and their crazy creator, Joe Castro.
My intent is to shock my viewer.
But now it's time for some more Hong Kong action. Hong Kong is the third largest movie maker after Bollywood and Hollywood. Kung Fu flicks may have put them on the map, but it's their reputation for making brilliant, mindless action films that have kept them there. Every new sequence seems to be bigger, faster, harder and more dangerous than the last. So I tracked down stuntman Ridley Choi, who's worked with some of the country's best action directors.
You've worked with some of the greats, like John Woo in The Killer.
Director John Woo asked us fall from the top of the church, right? Yeah, but I want you to face down, yeah, until you land. Okay, yeah, I try. Important thing is you cannot imagine how dangerous it is. You have to stand pain, actually a lot of pain.
How bad has it got for you?
I got a neck injury, shoulder injury, fire burn, ankles injury.
Do you ever feel I could die?
Oh yes, yeah. But I try to don't think about it.
It's that kind of daredevil attitude that makes Evel Knievel look like a suburban housewife. With scenes like these mind-blowing crashes, smashes and explosions, you can't help but admire Hong Kong's stuntmen.
And I'm about to meet the man who's responsible for the most dramatic of those awesome sequences. And his name is Bruce Law.
Action hero Bruce has worked on literally hundreds of movies and was Jackie Chan's very own stunt double. He loves blowing up motors so much, he keeps hundreds of them in his yard just in case he feels the need to blow one off.
Why do you think Hong Kong action and martial arts films are becoming so big and popular?
I think it's because Hong Kong developed Kung Fu around the 50s and 60s. And as a result, we have a more experienced knowledge of martial arts films compared with other countries. We also have our legend Bruce Lee. He made Kung Fu films popular around the world. For the all-out action movie, we have John Woo. He improved Hong Kong action films a lot. Since we developed these types of films so early, I think we know how to make much better action and martial arts films than anyone else.
Bruce has directed and added his own film, Extreme Crisis, to the long list of great Hong Kong action films. Some say he saved his best stunt work for this film.
What was the most difficult stunt to do in that film?
Well, there were quite a few tricky ones. For example, there was one where a man fell down a lift shaft and the camera followed him until he hit the floor. That was very difficult. I did another one in the centre of Hong Kong with 5 cars. I blew them up and made them flip over.
How did you do that?
I did some tests before the shoot. I weighed the cars to find out how much explosive to use so I could blow them up and get them to fly up to the same height.
How would you feel about blowing up James Bond's famous Aston Martin?
I like it. Quite funny.
I thought it would be fun too and asked Bruce to get all the gadgets and gizmos needed to blow Bond's baby to kingdom come.
Now, there must be some explosives here somewhere, I presume.
It's a cannon. Upside down to put it in the car and make the car flip over.
Wow! How high?
About 7 or 8 meters.
What's happening here? Is that going to blow up as well?
Charged battery.
Oh, it's a battery. Damn.
Well, what was I supposed to think with all this stuff lying around?
And now the car will self-destruct.
Don't worry, it was only a pathetic replica of Bond's car.
Bruce, the car's completely vanished. That was amazing.
Okay, no problem.
Oh, your hand seems to be on fire, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Mad.
I think I'll leave the big explosions to responsible experts like Bruce. Los Angeles is full of beautiful people with
Thanks to Banana Man.
For a few, this is a dream lifestyle, but for others, it's a shallow comic strip happiness. For them, Hollywood's candy floss generates a violent urge to make crazy splatter movies about cartoon characters that come to life and kill people.
Well, that's what happened to one guy at any rate, Joe Castro. His film's called Terratoons, and it's like nothing I've ever seen before. Totally psychotic take on the classic, stuff a bunch of kids in a house and kill them. Rebelling against Hollywood's caricatured sugary do-goodery, the characters in Terratoons are refreshingly irresponsible.
This is North Hollywood, the very locality where Terratoons was filmed. And I've come here to try to undo some of the appalling damage this film has done to the concept of wholesome family entertainment. How am I going to do that? I'm going to stoop to their level and become a cartoon character myself.
There was only one person who could help me prepare for such a transformation, and that was the film's director, Joe Castro. But before I go on to cause my own cartoon chaos, I wanted to know what inspired him to make such an insane film.
I primarily like to do things in my films that Hollywood would never do. My intent is to shock my viewer, and that's my main goal, to shock you but with entertainment value.
Why did you want to mix the cartoon world with the real world?
I just thought it would be a really original and unique blend. It's not Who Framed Roger Rabbit because our characters are physical. You can touch them and they can touch you back and that kind of thing. They're something you could actually be afraid of because they're an actual physical object that's right there in front of you.
Oh, no, 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 no.
I strictly made it with the intention of being completely silly. Not so much funny, but just sick and silly.
Well, Joe certainly achieved that. The cartoon characters Dr. Carnage and Max Assassin love killing people in the most spine-tingling ways.
What is it about cartoons that attracts you?
They don't necessarily have to have like a rhyme or reason behind all their actions. So every scene can be a very unpredictable act. I like that. I don't like that, mainstream where it's just kind of like you have to follow a formula, same old stuff. The scene that best illustrates the cartoon violence is definitely the brain surgery scene, where one of the characters is strapped down to a chair and Dr. Carnage gives him a lobotomy or some sort of brain surgery. It goes from being this really bloody, horrific act, giving someone a lobotomy, and then tickling him till he's, laughing hysterically. That kind of best illustrates the sickness of it and being silly.
What was your childhood like?
Well, if you must ask, I grew up on a goat ranch with a slaughterhouse.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, and so I would say at least 3 or 4 times a week, I could witness an animal being slaughtered. The butcher would slice the throat of the animal, and all the blood would rush from the neck. And sometimes the people that were buying the animal would hold a cup or a bowl at the throat and catch the blood and drink it warm from the body.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that. I thought he might have taken copious amounts of acid. But no, he watched people drinking blood, and if Terratoons is anything to go by, it clearly made him lose his marbles. Which made me wonder who it was meant to appeal to.
Terratoons is for all those people that want more blood and never get it.
Now it's that kind of irresponsible attitude that gives filmmakers a bad name. Terratoons was shot in a blistering 4 days. But I only gave myself a second to get rid of any hint of humanity and save the world from being corrupted by Dr. Carnage's unnecessary violence.
And so the story continues.
Dr. Carnage, I've got a naughty secret. Come close and I'll tell you. Stop corrupting us with your colourful cartoon violence. Beat this, you slippery piece of slime. Well, that was a little bit silly, but then again, so's the film. Of course, I'd never really want to kill anything that was simply trying to be out of the ordinary. That's that then. See you next time.
In my next show, I meet up with a German who's made a series of films called Violent Shit. Get my head chopped off, go on the set of an LA gangster movie.
I've got real LA gangsters.
Throw myself out of a moving car.
Are you ready?
I'm ready to go.
And meet horror legend Paul Naschy, who scares the shite out of me.